Hello and welcome. Thank you all for being here for the third Meet the Inventor event from IDiyas, the inventor and patent insight platform built by inventors. If you haven't visited the IDiyas website yet, please do. It's full of fascinating insights about innovation and inventing from big data. My name is Madeline Key. I've been interviewing inventors for more than 15 years. Today, I write about the innovation ecosystem from Forbes. Before I introduce our esteemed guest who's here with us today, the remarkable inventor Amit Kumar Agrawal, Senior Product Manager and Patent Specialist at Motorola Mobility, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Inventors Digest. Inventors Digest is the magazine for idea people. As the leading print and online publication for innovation culture, Inventors Digest delivers useful, entertaining, and cutting-edge information to help its readers succeed now in its 32nd year. Amit, we're so excited to have you with us. I think everyone here has joined us because they're impressed and amazed by your bio, but I'm going to take just a couple of minutes to share a little bit more about you before we leap right into our questions.
Sure.
Amit, okay, great. Amit is a prolific inventor, patent expert, and innovation leader living in Bengaluru, India. He has been at the forefront of cutting-edge technology in the mobile industry for over 18 years, including 16 with Motorola. He has led software groups to uncover patentable subject matter, resulting in more than 125 granted patents and close to 400 patent applications filed across the globe. Many of these patents have become integral parts of Motorola and Google products. As a core member of the Motorola Patent Review Board for over a decade, Amit has played a role in the review and decision-making process of over 500 invention disclosures. He collaborates with Patent Counsel to do prior art searches, claim drafting, and office action responses. From forming India's IP ambassador team to conducting patent workshops around the world, he loves to ignite the spark of innovation wherever he goes. I know many of you might prefer to leave your screensaver off, but we love seeing your faces, so please consider turning your camera on. The chat box, which you will need to click to open, is at the top of your screen on the right-hand side. I've prepared questions for Amit, but we would love to hear your questions, so please write them into the chat box and let us know where you're attending from. We won't be able to get to every question, but we're going to try to do our best in the next 30 minutes. So something that really impressed me about Amit when I got to meet him during our pre-call is he is a person, an inventor, who loves this process, the process of invention, so much that he actually became a patent agent. And you've learned as part of his bio, he really knows this process backwards, forwards, inside and out. So I'm really excited to ask him, when, Amit, did you start thinking of yourself as an inventor?
Thanks a lot, Madeline, for such a great introduction. And I would like to start with thanking every single participant in the call for taking out time from their daily busy schedule and come with this discussion. And we will start about your first question. So it was in 2013, there was a hackathon event, event which was conducted after a long time in Bangalore MBG site. And at that time, Motorola was a Google company. It was acquired by Google at that point of time. And I, along with a set of friends, we came up with a project. We called it Wine. It was a voice interactive navigation system. What it did was it enabled any third-party application on your mobile phone to be controlled using voice. So like, hey Google, Alexa, or Siri, Motorola has a solution called Hello Moto to invoke the voice and talk to it using voice. We were able to enable end-to-end interaction for any third-party application using this project. Like you could say, send WhatsApp to my wife, Shivangi, saying I'm running late. All this through voice. This demo was done so well that it went to Larry Page at that time, and it was built into a feature under Moto Voice.
Wow.
And when it went well, we also were able to file a patent and get a granted patent on that. And from then onwards, I got such gratification that led me to the path towards invention.
That's amazing. So it was really this event where you got to innovate with your friends and achieve something, many inventors want, which is actually to have their invention implemented. Was that the first time you had heard about patents? Had you before thought you wanted to be involved in innovation, and it was really the hackathon that kind of kicked it off for you? How did you learn
Yes.
more about patents? Yeah.
So one thing I have learned is if you really want something, the whole universe will conspire you in helping you achieve that. That's a very common saying. It's pretty much true for me. When
Mm,
I started seeking out knowledge for patents, I used to simply go and talk to our in-house. So there were have been many inventors for me at Motorola, but to specifically call out, my mentor and guru is Sylvia Chain. She is currently a senior patent counsel at Google. And then I was also helped by Bob Witte and David Watanabe.
mm,
And once patent is my passion, I went to law school. I also cleared the bar exam to get into the depth because I believe devil is in the detail. If you want
mm,
to master a craft, you have to learn, details about that.
mm. I love that anecdote. Amit, I want to jump forward in our questions here because you said the devil is in the details. Now, I've heard that more than once in regard to patents. And in fact, that's a reason why I think it makes a lot of sense for inventors to learn about the patenting process, to learn as much as they can, in fact. So what I want to jump ahead is something that you wrote to me, I think is amazing and very relevant for all inventors. You said you know how to align a patent portfolio with a product roadmap.
Mhm.
This is important for intellectual property to have value in the marketplace. So do you have advice for inventors on that? Are there certain questions they should ask when they're thinking, okay, I want to make sure what's in my patent really covers and is applicable to my product? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Sure. So there is a value of patent portfolio when your patent can be leveraged against your competitor. Like, so if you build a competitive portfolio by staying innovative and relevant, that is the most critical aspect. For
Mm,
example, if at Motorola we build new kind of hardware or software, we need to have some patents which are aligned to our product roadmap and
mm,
which are aligned to our competitors roadmap. For
mm,
example, if we are building a foldable phone, right, and we know what kind of problems we are going to encounter while building the phone, and if we are first to solve those problems, then we really get some edge because eventually the competition is going to be in that space. There will be other companies who will be building such foldable phones and they will be crossing the similar problem. And
mm,
when you already have an advantage in terms of not only the product but also some patents, then it makes total sense. But
mm,
if you do not align your patents with your portfolio, then you just have bunch of patents which you do not know how useful it would be in future.
mm. I see. So part of what you're doing really in your job as an inventor and a product specialist is you're thinking a lot about the future, not what am I innovating now, but where is the technology going? Where is it headed? How do you stay informed and abreast? And what can inventors do to make sure that they're thinking towards the future and where things are going to be 5, 10, 15 years down the line?
So there are multiple ways in doing that. So typically each of the organization or corporate, they have R&D team who
Mm,
are exploring new opportunities. At
mm,
Motorola, we have a dedicated R&D team. We have in fact in Chicago 312 labs who kind of uh, work on explore on new form factors. Like you will see some of those form factors being exhibited by our leaders at MWC or CES event, like rollable phones. And then there will be some more new form factors. We explore new materials. So when you read about those things, then you are almost at the edge of that technology. And then you try to solve what would be the user experiences for such form factors, what will
Mm,
be the challenges in building them, and how you will make this seamless for your end users. And
mm,
that's where all your novel ideas are.
I love that. Um, that dovetails perfectly into my next question. Where do your ideas come from? What inspires you? And can you take us behind the scenes a little bit into maybe a day in your professional life?
Sure. So it's a two-part question. First question is about the ideas origination. I have a very simple approach. For many people, they kind of run away from problems. For me, I consider problems as an opportunity.
Mm,
I believe the crux of the invention lies on identifying the problem. So if we stop accepting that's how it is, that's how it works, two, no, why can't it be better? Why can't we improve such a thing? So if we can identify or have a knack of identifying a problem as a problem, then 50% of our goal is met.
mm,
And when you check that this has not been addressed in the industry, there is no prior publication, no prior patent on it, I believe 80% of your goal is achieved. Only part which you need to do is work towards identifying a novel solution.
mm,
Not only you have a solid feature, but you also have a very good patentable aspect, and that's a done deal.
Fascinating.
Now
Um,
coming to the workday life, so
yes.
I play a dual role, right? So I have a my core job is as a product manager. As a passion, I do patents. So I divide my time into two different portions. There will be some work which is like mandatory, like meetings, emails, and all those things. I call them shallow work. So 30% of the time goes into managing day to day that. 70% of the time I focus on deep work, and
Mm,
within the deep work, I try to plan 70% for my product and features, and the 30% will be what I love the most. Like I'll be writing disclosures, or I'll be reviewing the draft claims and applications, or I'll be going through or scrubbing the prosecution status and preparing responses with outside counsels for my pending applications. And the most important thing, I love to brainstorm with all my different colleagues for ideas day to day.
Lovely. Do those brainstorming sessions happen formally or informally? Is this maybe at lunch or throughout the day, or do you actually have scheduled time where you meet and innovate?
Every single opportunity I get, I do not bother. So sometimes when I go for a walk along with my colleagues, I utilize that time. When I'm in commute, I can utilize that time. So there should not be a fixed time or formal way of innovation. Innovation comes when you stuck into a problem, when you identify a problem.
So it's not something you set down and pick up. It's part of who you are. It's almost the mindset, the mind frame through which you walk through the world. That's amazing. In one of our conversations, you described writing a patent application, drafting, as an art, not a science. That's my first question. Is that true, and why is that? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on in the space. The growing use of AI is starting to become a talking point, and I'm curious if that's something you have used, you plan on using, would never use. Please share with us.
Wonderful. So, good question. I personally believe any form of creativity is an art, especially once you get a knack of it. Like when we talk about AI, a couple of decades back, when PCs were becoming common household, they were ubiquitous, they were everywhere. People were starting getting afraid that they will lose their job because PC will replace them. What we saw in the last 2 decades is while the jobs were curtailed in some other industry, there was a massive explosion of jobs in computer age and in computer era. Almost every single place, computers were adopted. Everything was digitized. So
Mhm.
same way, I believe that is going to be the aspect with Gen AI, because that's the buzzword. Everybody thinks, oh, if Gen AI can write patent applications, what would we do? So I believe there will be always a need for human touch. Like these days, if you consider, there are so many tutorials which are online. Almost all your entire college syllabus, school syllabus is online in the form of videos, instructions, PDFs, and whatnot. But still, people prefer to go to colleges and schools. You and I here are talking, even though virtually, at least we are in blood and flesh. So there is going to be always a human touch, and
Mm.
there would be always need for innovators and clever patent practitioners who are going to leverage AI as a tool, not as a replacement.
Mm. That makes perfect sense. I would agree. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of your inventions now. Would
Mhm.
you help us understand what is Ready4 and how did it come to life?
So, Readyfor is a device collaboration project which Motorola has been shipping since 2020, and I'm the product manager of Readyfor. What Readyfor brings is user, whether they have a PC or whether they have a monitor or TV or not, they always have a phone. Almost most of the users have a phone.
Mhm.
What Readyfor brings is a capability where you can connect your phone to two different umbrella of devices. One
Mm.
could be your display devices, which could be a TV or which could be a monitor. The other could be your computing devices like a tablet or a PC. And
Mhm.
once you are in a connected environment, you can bring your entire content, which is in a small screen of mobile, to a bigger display for productivity and for entertainment.
Mm.
Now, when we think about the COVID times, when especially in India, people were forced to study from remote or work from remote, and not everybody could afford a PC, which used to be very expensive.
Mm.
People can connect their phone with their existing monitor or TV and set off peripheral like a keyboard and mouse, and they can have a PC like experience. So,
Mm.
such a project, you
Wow.
are addressing the real life need for such large user base.
Mm.
So, that's the importance what Ready for can bring and brings.
Thank you for sharing that context. That makes so much sense that this is really a way that people can have more utility from their devices and also have spent less. That's amazing. Um, I'd also love for you to share with the audience, you and maybe some colleagues invented a solution that benefits people who use Gmail, like myself, every day. Will you share a little bit about that? Because I just find that amazing.
So, that's a very interesting story. uh, Again, it was when I really started inventing and we were with Google. So there was a time when we used to have an human resource lead in our Bangalore site. His name was Pathy, Pathy. And at the similar time, we also had a colleague whose name was Gulpreet. So when we used to write some emails, there was an autocomplete feature and autocorrect feature. So computer used to think they are smart. And when we used to write mail, the name Pathy used to become party. So if I am sending an email, hi Pathy, autocorrect thinks they are smart and it will convert into party. Now an email to HR saying his name is party, wow, that's not a good deal. The second thing which is more destructive is my friend whose name is Gurpreet, when I sent an email, we realized it came as hi culprit. So now the computer was acting reverse. So we thought, well, wait, we should not accept this as an autocomplete or autocorrect feature. So what we did was we started taking what is there in the to field in the CC field, because that's where you will have your name, your email from your organization. And if the computer can parse that proper name, it can not only address the person properly. If it's a he can start like with the proper salutations like Mr., Mrs., Miss. So we filed that disclosure, and then we were able to get a grant. We also saw after a few years Google implemented that feature, and now Google has 4 patents around it with all of us as inventors. So that worked out very well for us.
Amazing. What stands out to me about that story is I think many people who are maybe not inventors would say, oh, there's no need to fix this, or this is fine, it's a small thing. And instead you had a very different conclusion, which was, no, this is certainly not ideal for people whose names are being auto-corrected. That's not right. Our names are some of the most important ways we communicate with one another. And so you made that difference. You describe your role as bridging the gap between engineering features and patentable ideas related to those features. I'm curious, when you're on the Motorola review board, what are some of the factors that are considered about which ideas to go forward and actually patent? I think that's a real pertinent question for any inventor, especially one that has many, many ideas. Which do you actually go forward with and why?
So when we evaluate a particular disclosure submitted by authors, we call them inventors once they have a patent on that. So we evaluate them under several criteria. Some of the base criteria are the idea has to be novel, new. It should also have non-obviousness, meaning it should not be an obvious idea to the person who is skilled in the art. It should fall under a patentable subject matter, which is guidelined by the different patent offices. It should have a technical feasibility. You cannot just patent an abstract idea, and it should be useful. It should have longevity for a long time to come, because you are submitting an idea now, it will get granted perhaps 3 years, 4 years later, and you want to leverage that patent for the next 20 years. It should be easy to detect, and most importantly, it should be relevant to your business and your competitors' business. So these are some of the primary considerations we do when we consider an idea which is potential for patent prosecution and filing.
That makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of those are the factors even for an idea to be patentable, period. This dovetails nicely with my next question, which is many people who are developing solutions to problems, maybe in companies, maybe in home, maybe in the academic environment, they don't actually know that they have an invention. What do you mean when you say you scrub for patentable subject matter? What does that actually mean? Are you talking to people? Are you just reading the disclosures? Are you meeting with teams? I'm curious about that, how you uncover the inventions.
So if you see most of the team members in any organizations, they are often after deadlines. There are always milestones and deliverables. So most of the R&D teams are focused on making project happen in a stipulated time with excellent quality. And while they are chasing this circle, the evaluation for patent subject matter gets often ignored. Okay. By the time you realize that you have something novel which you could have patented, your project is almost ready to deliver or already delivered. So by that time it is too late. At Motorola, we have a very nice process of meta scrum where each of our feature go through different phases. And I have taken a proactive role of a patent specialist where I attend meetings every week where different product managers, like I am a product manager, there are so many different hardware and software product managers which bring their idea to the table for discovery phase or concept phase, and that's where we bring up our antennas to catch for those patentable ideas and prepare our protection early on.
Got it. So timing is really a large
Oh,
consideration.
yes.
so much sense is when you start having those conversations, when you're even aware, maybe planting those seeds for people who, you're right, aren't in that mindset of thinking what's patentable. They're thinking, how am I going to make sure I fulfill my job requirements and my boss is happy with me and all of those other concerns. We've got just a few last minutes here. So I want to ask you, big picture wise, there might be some people in the audience who are inventing for the mobile industry or people who watch this later. What is your sense of where that's headed, and what would you encourage an inventor to be paying attention to, maybe even listening to? What are the trends?
See, there are various areas in which, there is going to be an advancement. AI is certainly one of those. Again, AI is not everything. We also have to look into some of the key aspects where if user has got a device, how he can use the same device in different context, or how he can use that device by connecting into some other devices. So device collaboration is a very good area. Plus, there are a lot of aspects about family, like people want to feel or stay connected. So that's one of the area where you kind of link with trusted devices and how you operate within that trusted zone. And there is a security aspect, because people are more and more bothered about privacy and security with everything going digitalization. So those are some of the areas where I would uh, you know uh, encourage inventors to think upon and build new inventions.
That really underscores the need for increased collaboration among inventors too, when we're really looking at these devices as how they're in relationship with one another and families. IDiyas data has shown that, in fact, across the board, patent applications are listing more and more inventors, perhaps due to some of the complexity of tackling these issues. It also seems more fun to invent with other people,
Yes.
and more efficient as well. It sounds like that inventing with others is something that you really enjoy. Is that accurate? Do you have any advice for best practices of people who want to invent with others?
Well, I'm a firm believer of teamwork and collaboration. So there are a lot of patents where I'm the only inventor, but I'm proud to state that I have worked with almost every single team in my organization, be it be any software team or hardware team, and I have worked with over 150 unique inventors within my organization.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations. That's just
Thank you.
remarkable. Something that really is standing out to me is just how much a prolific inventor, it's almost like they're responsible for the assist. It's not just the patents they filed, but it's the ones that they've helped other people step into their power, see themselves as inventors. One of the goals of IDiyas is to motivate this next generation of young innovators. What is your advice for a young person who's maybe not sure what they need to study, not sure where they need to work, but wants to have the type of passion for their career that you have?
So I usually follow 4P, and I would like to advise the same thing which I try to follow. So first thing, any person has to identify a passion, because once they know what is their passion, whatever they are working would not feel like a work. For me, it's like almost 10 p.m. and I'm like fully energetic. Second, you need to prioritize your goal. You have to take out time from your time. Whatever you want to do, everything in life is about priority. The third, prepare well. Like whether it is product, whether it is patent, learning is required to grow in any field. And thus, the right amount of preparation and practice is must. And the last, exhibit perseverance. So even though I have like 400 patent pursuits, where almost we have like 375 filed, there are set of failures which I had, like around 30 or 40 of my ideas were rejected by the committee, but I took every single idea as a learning opportunity. So not every idea would be patentable, things will get rejected. Don't lose heart.
Mm,
Keep learning from your failures, and that's where your success would be.
mm. I think that's absolutely fantastic advice for all of us, something I try to keep close to my heart. Um, I've been looking for a great question in the chat. I think a good one is, do you know if Motorola will work with or partner with inventors who are outside of the organization? Is that something that you've done? If maybe a startup has an interesting technology they want to pitch or show you, is that part of your work? And do you have any advice for inventors who are not in a corporate environment but really want to work with a Motorola or with Google?
Yes, so they should definitely contact the organization. I can help connect them to the right set of legal team and people. We do work with lot of vendors. So when we build a Motorola phone, it would not be possible for any company to build every single piece of hardware and software by themselves.
Right.
As I told, not only we believe in collaboration within the organization, we believe in collaborating. We have done several projects with Google, with Microsoft, with Amazon. So that way we can work. We are open to work with any inventors.
That's wonderful. The open innovation is one word of describing that,
Yes.
I believe. And it does seem like, especially because of the challenges and the complexity of innovations, whereas in the past, that was a good thing for R&D. I almost perceive it's becoming essential, vital to get to tap and be able to work outside your organization. Is there any other statements or comments you'd like to add, Amit, before we wind down here? We're at the half hour.
No, I think we have pretty much covered everything, Madeline. I'm really thankful to you for crafting such great questions, and I'm giving me this opportunity to share my learnings and my passion of patents.
Well, I think you're an amazing advocate for patents and innovation, and you inspire me. So I really appreciate all your time and effort. I know it's late your time. Everyone who's joined us, we would so appreciate it if you took a moment to share your thanks for Amit in the chat. I'd like to thank you again for joining us for the third interview of the Meet the Inventor Ideas series. We're coming right back next week with our next really exciting guest. And let us know, what did you think of this conversation? You can provide feedback by reaching out to me on LinkedIn or directly emailing support@idiyas.com. We're always wanting to hear from you about who you want to learn from, what ideas you have. Let us know. And thank you all again for joining us. Okay. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.